Hey, my name is Vipperman, and I'm so excited to be back in the studio again with my friend Kurt Johnson and hearing a little bit about the work that's going on and the story of Freight Pop. Kurt, welcome to the call this morning. So excited to have you with us.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Man, I'm in Dallas, Texas today. How about yourself, Kurt?
I am in Orange County, California.
All right, so a little bit of distance there, which means I caught you a lot earlier in the morning,
It,
but glad you were able to make it. Um,
nice.
I continue to hear great things about the growth of Faith Pop and its scalability over the years as Eagle made an early investment with you guys. So excited today to get some of the company's backstory and yours as well. If you'd start off, just tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you were born, how you grew up, and a little bit of how you got to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, great. Appreciate that. I was born in Ohio. Wasn't there long. Moved to Florida. I grew up on the southeast part of Florida. So I understand the heat you guys are going through now. As a matter of fact, I was
Yeah.
there this weekend, and it's just brutal. I don't know how people can stand it there, but thank God for air conditioning. But
Yeah.
made my way out to California my senior year of high school and have been here ever since. Just it's a The weather is perfect and it's beautiful here. If you love the outdoors, mountain biking and hiking in the ocean. So, not trying to do a commercial for California. We don't need any more Californians here. So, but you know what? If you're faith driven, come on out. We,
Nice.
we could always use more in our on our team. So, been here, went to college here. I've had six startups. Freight Pop is my sixth and final. And the story there is on my fifth one. I actually started it 27 years ago in my garage, and the name of it's Horizon Technology. It's still going strong. So I'm not operational in it. I act a little bit like an advisor or a board member, and but I started that, and from Horizon Technology, we were able to incubate three other businesses. Two of them we sold off, and Freight Pop came about in about 2015. And not unlike most founders and entrepreneurs, it comes from a problem set that you experience yourself. So you feel the pain, and I think you kind of know when you're meant to be an entrepreneur when you feel that pain and say, "Oh, I need to do something about this. I can fix
Ah,
this, and I can build a great company around it." So I think that's a common theme that I've seen, and sure enough, we had that in right about 2015. And for me, I was at the tail end of my operational role with Horizon Technology, and really wasn't sure what was next. Maybe it was going to be ministry or mission work. And I was in a program called the Master's Program, Bob Shank's program. If
oh,
you know, do you know
nice.
Bob?
Yeah. Well, I know
Okay,
the
great.
program. I've heard a lot
It's
about it.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal program about biblical stewardship, about your calling. It's a 3-year program. You meet quarterly. I cannot recommend it enough.
Mm,
It's kind of the takeoff from the I think it was Halftime, Bob Buford's
okay.
book.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it kind of took off from that. Very very similar derivative of that. Anyway, so I'm in the middle of this program and thinking, I don't know what's next. God, I really don't. And this program was just so impactful about stewardship and calling. And
Mm,
we had one of my longtime employees who was an executive. He ran operations and logistics, had an idea, which turned out to be Freight Pop. But he thought, hey, look, we need a transportation management system for our use here. At the time we were a maybe $100 million distributor, global distributor of computer products, and all the pain points that we felt. He said, we've tried the packages in the landscape, in the marketplace. Nothing would really achieve the result we needed. So we decided to build one for ourselves, for our own use, and with an eye on the outside market. We did that, and in 2016 we built it, and it turned out to be a great solution for our internal needs. And it looked like the market was really ready for a cloud native solution that was more targeted to the SMB marketplace. So we launched in 2017 we had our first paying customer. But what we realized was this was more of a, not an SMB solution. It was more enterprise. I think the first two big customers that were interested were Porsche and Forever 21.
No
So
kidding.
yeah, we kind of had woken up to that at that point, and that's when I realized I think I might have bit off more than I could chew. During the, I had this moment during the master's program where it was kind of, I won't say arguing with God, but we were talking. It was a lively discussion, and I just said, I don't want another startup. I don't want to do it. And I clearly, like, he was pretty resolute and direct and said, nope, I made you, I gave you talents, I gave you a career, I gave you gifts within the entrepreneurial skill set. You're going to do this one. You're going to do it for me. The last one, I was there with you, but you were driving. I was just in the back seat. This one, I'm driving. You're going to be in the front seat with me. So it was man, it was so humbling. It was just so humbling to feel like, no, I've got to do it. And this opportunity on the front side of it was just so much bigger than anything I've done. It was just the market ceiling, the opportunity was just so much bigger. So I felt completely overwhelmed. Like, there's just no way, God. There's no way. And I think for me, what I learned from that season of my life was God wants our faith. He wants our trust, but he wants us to be on our knees. Like, that's when we're closest to him. That's when we're our best version of ourselves. So this was his way of saying, no, I'm going to throw something out there that's going to really overwhelm you and put you on your knees, and let's go do this. So it was a real critical time.
Wow. So many things to unpack there, from
Yeah.
like what dependence means and how that, like, dependence on the Lord to accomplish the task of building this new company. To willingness, just willingness to step out in faith. When you didn't necessarily want to do something again
Yeah.
and start a new company, but the Lord said, no, hey, I need your willingness to step into this. Henry Kastner from Faith Driven always talks about
Yeah.
being willful, or being open to what the Lord is leading and stuff like that. And so just the willingness to step back and again, like you said, let him take the wheel. And also just the whole, you've built, this is the sixth company. One of the things Eagle loves to do is invest in serial entrepreneurs. Because they've seen the ups and downs. A lot of times the news kind of highlights the 23-year-old or something like that goes and builds this company that becomes a unicorn. And we know that is a few and far between story. Honestly, a lot of the people that are successful entrepreneurs are people that have been in that space for a long time. They see an opportunity, or in like your case, you leveraged the technology for your previous company. And you're like, hey, this is something we're going to use. We see a need for. And oh, by the way, I bet there's some other companies that could use this technology too. And so with experience, with knowledge, with understanding of how to, manage a team, you charge ahead and go build something that can really, light it up. So it's exciting to hear.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Absolutely. I think you're on the willingness, and I think the obedience part of it. It's, he's a big God. If he wants you to do something, it's going to happen. So
He'll draw you in.
yeah, you might as well submit earlier than later.
Nice. Interesting, and maybe we can dive into it a little bit later in the story. I'd be fascinated to hear what that experience was like in the previous companies, because it sounds like that wasn't the story. You kind of were just kind of in your own head, building companies and stuff like that earlier, and not having that same dialogue.
Yeah, I think that's an accurate depiction. I think I became a believer. I was baptized probably in 1992, so it's been 33 years. And so I did not grow up as a believer. I grew up in the Catholic Church, being dragged there every Sunday, unwillingly, right? But I know that planted a seed that I came back around to in my 20s, and it took a life event. I think I was 26 years old to try to, or for God to help me reassess my priorities. For me at that time, it was business, maybe then starting a family. God might have been number 3 or 4 down there. And I had a blessed time where he just basically took everything from me, and not I had a startup. Real quick story too. So 6 startups. One was an absolute fail. It was a dumpster fire, right? So 6 months.
Mhm.
But I think that's obligatory. That's required for us entrepreneurs. That's how we learn a lot. Maybe it's
Yeah.
not, that's the only way we learn. But it was after that, and I thought I wanted to be an entrepreneur all my life, and I just started this business, and it just just crashed within 6 months. So that, and then not having a place to live, and a big breakup. So God was clearly saying, "Hey, you've tried it your way, didn't seem to work out. How about my
Mm.
way?" And it really was one of those times in your life. Like the only thing I had was my Toyota truck, and that broke down. And I didn't have the money to fix it. I had to fix it. So imagine before YouTube, imagine you've got the old
Oh,
manuals
the
and
books. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That
books.
you.
I, I literally, in my mom's driveway while she was traveling, I was staying with her because I didn't have a place to live. It was a transmission. It was a secondary bearing on a transmission. I changed a bearing on my transmission on the Toyota truck in her driveway with motorcycle straps. And it was,
Oh my
to this day,
word.
I can't believe, like, gosh, I can't imagine my mindset. How did I get through that? Especially when you're just looking at manuals.
You were
I got
desperate. Like you had to get it done.
desperate times, right? So
Yeah.
I get down to the last, the fill plug on the transfer case. I crank it. I set the torque wrench and put it to the right setting and and I hear a crack, and the whole transfer case cracked after 4 days of laboring.
Oh
So this was
man.
my moment. Like I just snapped. I might have kicked and punched the garage door a little bit. I
Yeah.
might have done some things that not proud of, but a few unsavory words. But that was God saying, "Are you ready to try it my way?" And it's
Mm.
now it's God family business. Like those are the priorities. Even
Oh,
today with Frapop, we have our 5 F's are part of our core values: faith, family,
okay.
finance, which is work, fitness,
Uh,
and fun. And it's just
okay.
something
That's a good 5.
I learned 30 years ago, that I can actually 40 years ago, that still applies. It's
Awesome.
about the priorities.
Very, very cool. I gotta ask. So, how'd you fix the truck? Did you end up having someone come help you? Or did you
Nope.
just kind of give up
Start
and?
it over, man. I
Dude.
actually, you know what I did? When I figured out that it was a bearing on the transfer case, I literally bribed a Toyota mechanic. Saw him coming out at lunch. Can you press it? Just I have a bearing. Could you just press it on? I think I paid him $30 to press on a bearing. And so
Just got
so
it done.
so yeah, like all entrepreneurs, we're pretty resourceful.
I was gonna say scrappy is what I hear a lot of times. You just got to
Yeah,
do what you got to do. I talked to an entrepreneur on the podcast just this
yeah,
week, and he had to lay off 70% of his team because they were just burning so much money
yeah,
each month. But it gave him the initiative to rebuild the right way, and
yeah.
now they're seeing some significant success. There's some hard decisions that you have to make when you're building companies,
Always.
and building family at the same time. But it's I find entrepreneurs oftentimes just work through the challenges, and thank God that the Lord is there with us to help us do it.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so now we're here. Now you've got Freight Pop. What is the
Yep.
specific problem that you guys saw that you wanted to address, and then what's the solution that you guys have produced?
Yeah, it's manual processes for shipping and logistics,
Okay.
and the supply chain is very fragmented in terms of processes. It's still fragmented for solutions, and becoming digitized is probably maybe the last 5 years, little more than that perhaps, that it's become more digitized. But even though it's become more digitized and more automated, the processes are still fragmented, and absolutely there's data silos. So the data is siloed and fragmented. And if you think about an enterprise shipper, like Honda is one of our customers, and you think about what they go through on for shipping all the different types of products, not just cars but boxes, and there's multi modes that they're shipping through. So having it be fragmented is very expensive. So
Yeah.
what we did is we created a solution that handles all the sequences, the process, of shipping. So there's quoting your shipments. It's automatic. Think it's like an Expedia type of experience to have all your carriers, whatever mode, in one place, real time, and you would have say an order number that imports automatically into FreightPop from an ERP or a WMS or any order entry system, and that populates and automatically populates all the carrier quotes. You get to pick by service, service level, or by reliability, however you want to pick, by cost, and then it tenders the shipment, so it automatically notifies them to come pick it up, prints out all the way bills, everything you need, tracks it automatically on a very proactive basis, and then you have the auditing, and you have, of course, the analytics. So all of those steps in the process are automated and seamless, and it's also by bringing in all these different data sets, all these different really disparate parties. So carriers, your ERP, could be your WMS. You might have a broker that you use. You can add their rates. So it was a way to make it very agnostic and automatic. And the ROI is very documentable as to the time savings. Just shopping carrier rates can save quite a bit of money, maybe like 15 to 30%. Auditing invoices where there's always mistakes saves anywhere from 5 to 15%. So I think having that solution, it's something that we again created for ourselves at Horizon Technology, and then as we rolled it out, it appealed more to an enterprise shipper than it did SMB. So that was,
Okay.
and from there, we're just hanging on, man. I mean, we're just like it's like a 8-second bull ride. Just hang on.
Nice. Well, tell us a little bit about the momentum. I know you guys have grown from just a few million to tens of millions. I mean, it
Yeah.
just seems like the scalability has been phenomenal in a short period of time. So, how's the
Yeah.
momentum these days?
Momentum is good. As kind of an accolade or milestone, I just heard from our marketing lead that we made the Inc. 500 list again.
Hey,
Um, yeah.
congratulations.
So I think that's our third time. We've done the regionals. It's been like 4 times, and so it's 7 between them. But I think last year it was in the low 200s, maybe 219 or so. So good solid growth. It's easy as an entrepreneur to look at everybody else out there. You talked about it before. It's a 23-year-old that has this creates a $100 million company overnight, especially with AI now. I mean, that kind of stuff is
Right.
actually happening. But it's even within the portfolio companies that our investors have. It's easy to look and compare and say, oh man, we're not measuring up. We only grew 109% last year, or we only grew 86%. And I think for us, it's been, I'd say, more linear. If you looked at our revenue curve, it does appear more like a hockey stick, but it's just not crazy up and to the right, straight up, and then straight down, and then straight back up. It's been more, I'll say, predictable, but more manageable. We're very
Yeah.
much blue collar bootstrappers, even though we've raised I think 12.5 million. So I think we've been good stewards. And I think that's something that biblical stewardship and understanding that translates into business stewardship. And we get a lot out of the resources we have. So we've been super blessed. Last year we did a little over 20 million in revenue, starting from 2017. So we feel like we've got a lot of momentum going into an absolutely critical time with the AI. We're B2B SaaS. Like I think it was Nadella from Microsoft that said 50% of SaaS solutions are going to be gone. So there's a lot of hyperbolic conversations and statements going on out there, but people should be paying attention. So I think there's a lot of disruption, a lot of innovation at a record pace. I mean, it's crazy how fast things are changing. But we're embracing AI. We've got our first agent coming out probably later this month, if not next month, and we feel like we've built a platform. We're not an app anymore. We're now kind of a suite because we've built out our feature set so much, and we've appealed more to enterprise shippers. So as we've been pulled upstream, and AI is just the logical next step for us. So we're really excited about it and embracing it. And we've got this great product roadmap that we're building out.
Dude, that's exciting. And congratulations for the success. Sounds like a lot of exciting things. Tell me a little bit about your team. How big are you guys these days? As a company culture, what's important for you, and how do you help build a culture that's going to last there at Freight Pop?
Yeah. So we're just under 80 people, very distributed. We're in 12 countries.
Oh
We
wow,
have most of our headquarters here in Southern California. We have an office in Nashville. So we have the transplants, people that are wanting to leave California, and they're all headed to Nashville.
yeah,
That's the size. The team, we just, we went through this transition during COVID and the remote work, and obviously it accelerated that for the workforce working remote. And we've settled on what we feel like is the best solution for us, and that's a hybrid of
yeah,
Tuesday, Thursdays remote, and Monday, Wednesday, Friday together. We're going to start the week together. We're going to end the week together, and
nice.
it's just a great culture. We have a couple things I think make it unique. One, especially the AI part of it. We have this AI Unboxed company meeting every Friday right before our weekly wins meeting. So everybody from all over the world's on, and we share wins and we share how we're using AI operationally internally every week.
Interesting. Okay, has that led to some really good
Oh yeah,
conversations and some use cases for the company?
yeah, absolutely. I think the easy thing for companies now is the operational AI to adopt internally, right? There's just so much productivity gains that can be picked up, but you've got to change the culture first. And I think we're still at a size where we can impact that, we can influence that, and so to keep the urgency up, to keep the learning. We've always had a culture of learning to the best we could. I I think it's the culture is so important. I forget the piece out of the Harvard Business Review years ago, but it compared the hard edge of execution versus the soft edge of culture, and they're both independently important and
Yeah,
required for success. And I've always appreciated that perspective because the culture, our core values are absolutely critical to us. I mentioned the 5 F's as our first one. We have the give back, dream big, go the extra mile, and light it up. And light it up is kind of a dual context. In one context, there's a scoreboard, and we want to light up the scoreboard. We're competitive. And the other context is be a point of light in your community. You know, be that way. So core values have always been important. We've always found kind of repetitive and also new ways to live them within, to demonstrate them, to highlight them, to celebrate them. It's just not something that's on our wall. So that's been a big part of our culture. And when you do that, when you invest in that, I think it improves, increases trust and credibility, and you do get to move faster. You're able to move the company to adopt AI at a faster pace.
absolutely. No, I love it. Well, what do you think the future looks like in the shipping and logistics business? And then I want to jump into the impact side a little bit
Yeah.
after that.
Well, I think the future, I think this was 4 or 5 years ago that they said logistics was 5 trillion or so. I like North America. It was some crazy number. It's a big industry, obviously. It's still very, very fragmented. The data is still siloed. So I think there's a great opportunity for automation for these solutions, and AI is going to, it's going to accelerate that. And the companies that can't keep up are just going to kind of fall by the wayside. So we're uh, we're super excited about it. We think that we have an opportunity here to build a billion-dollar valuation company,
Okay.
and we're focused on it. And I have an incredible team that's been doing the work, and they make it easy on me. So I just try to keep them between the rails, and they make it really easy.
Well, I want to talk, as you know, Eagle's huge hugely focused on impact and just how we're impacting not only the founders and the companies, but also their customers and clients and that kind of thing. I know, one of the things that's really valuable about SaaS is when you can build something better, faster, or cheaper,
Yeah.
you're saving people time, you're saving people money, you're helping them to be more effective with the things that they're doing. You're helping companies to ship their products more effectively, more cheaply, and more quickly. And that just helps companies to run faster. So that's a great impact. We also love to look at like the lives of individual people and that they're touching. And I remembered back, a few years ago, we had an interaction with an organization called TAT, which stands for Truckers Against Trafficking. And these days, they're touching all areas of transportation and just really trying to bring awareness to the fact that human trafficking happens in the world, especially in the U.S., that oftentimes it happens through the transportation industry, whether it's a ride share, whether it's in a truck stop or, in a hotel or, that kind of thing near trucking. And so that industry, it's just, we've been really thankful that TAT has is a big player in that space and giving great advice. And then when you guys were willing to connect with them and kind of look at ways to deploy, TAT's work and highlight it in the work that you guys are doing, I just thought that was a cool ad. Do you mind sharing about that for just a minute?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was your organization who kind of planted the seed with us, which I really appreciate. And it's a fantastic organization. I don't know how you could not have a soft spot in your heart for trafficking. There's there's a lot of causes that there's people for it and people against it. Maybe
Yeah.
president. There's nobody against. Nobody for trafficking. Sorry, there's nobody
Right,
for it. So
right,
it makes it
right.
really easy. It's not. I mean, there's no political implications to it. It's just flat out evil. It's
Yeah.
evil. That's not in God's plan. So, it's in fairness, it's a really easy lift for us. We have I don't know, 1,500 to 2,000 carriers that are integrated into the application. We're
Okay.
very highly integrated with 150 ERP platforms, I think 26 e-commerce, and maybe 1,500 to 2,000 carriers. So by the carrier's name, we have a logo, an icon, the TAT icon, if they have been certified by TAT. So when they go through the certification with TAT, we'll put the logo on our next to their carrier name and carrier logo. So when our users are deciding which carrier to pick, that can be a difference maker. Oh, it's between option 1 and 2, and 1 is cheaper, but 2 is certified by TAT. Yeah, I'm going with 2. So it kind of I think it helps. It helps a little bit. We're just trying to do a little part here in awareness, and it's easy for us to do that. So I think it was a great opportunity for us.
Yeah, I love it. A lot of times companies, are looking for ways to have an impact through the work that they have.
Yeah,
And it's, fun to find, check a box, add a logo. Sometimes it's the littlest things that can make a significant difference, and then, all the impact that TAT is doing, all the work that they're having in the trucking industry can then be multiplied once again, by the work that you guys are doing. So I just think it's a lot of fun. Are there other organizations, like different ones that you guys also plug into? I know some companies like to donate certain places. Some companies like to give back or to go serve together. Are there other
yeah,
places that you guys are passionate about or involved with?
yeah. What as part of our give back core value, we do quarterly. Sometimes it turns out to be twice a year, but I would say it's actually team building, but it is charity events. Like the last
Yeah.
one, I think we did it in Q1. Maybe perhaps it was March. It was a local charity here called NEGU. Maybe you've heard of that.
Okay.
Never Ever Give Up. Jesse
Okay.
Reese Foundation, and they have what they call joy jars. It's to bring comfort to kids with cancer,
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah, fantastic organization. And they make these joy jars, which are just a jar full of all kinds of cool stuff that would
Yeah.
make a child smile and bring some joy to their life. So we had about 20 of us that went over there for the for the morning and packed joy jars, learned about the organization, and it ends up again being a great team building event. But
Yeah.
we've done, we've volunteered at the soup kitchens, we've done prepared meals for seniors at centers, and we've done quite a bit. But I think it helps when we get outside of ourselves, we take the focus off ourselves. We just feel a sense of fulfillment, and that is critical. And when we're stuck in the whirlwind of the day-to-day business, when we're moving so fast, it's really hard to do that. So we try to yank everyone out of that every once a quarter or two and make them go do something a little more selfless.
That's awesome. Very cool. Well, one of the things I wanted to make sure to end with, tell me a little bit about, next steps. I always tell people when you're doing marketing, you're trying to get people to think something, right? To think
Yeah,
about data, to think about the numbers, to think about the implications. You're always trying to get them to feel something, right? You're telling a story. You're trying
yeah,
to help people understand the heart behind the work. But you're also trying to get people to do something. Marketing that doesn't end in an action just feels wah wah, right? Like it just feels like it doesn't land. So for those listeners out there who are like, man, heard about Kurt's company, we've got these kind of problems or we've got issues like this. How can they get involved? What's a next step action that a listener could take to save some money on their shipping, to be more effective in that work, and to be a part of the conversation?
yeah. I think maybe I'll scope it up a little bit because I think it starts with the drive. Initially, yeah, there's an emotional connection to goals. One of our core values, dream big.
Mm,
I think it has to start there. We've tried to foster a culture where everybody in there, even specific to your role, maybe parts of your life. We have a hopes and dreams program where I meet with every new employee to talk about what their goals, what their hopes and dreams are, to really understand how we can encourage and support that along the journey and where they're headed. And oftentimes, doesn't have to do with their role at Freight Pop. So I think that's been great. But for me, it always starts there. Like, what are your dreams? You have to dream big. Our pastor a number of years ago said something that really struck me. Big God, big goals. Puny God, puny goals. So I thought, wow, that's just hit me right between the eyes. So I just encourage everyone to start with the big goals and dreaming big.
yeah, and for shipping and logistics needs, can they go to, is it freightpop.com?
It is. It
Okay.
is.
And they can learn a little bit more about the services you guys provide, the opportunities to step in. They request a contact there, and somebody will get in
Yep.
touch with them.
Yep. There's a chat window. There's a lot of ways to get a hold of us, but we welcome that and happy to answer any questions if anyone wants to reach out. And hopefully we connect and meet.
Awesome. Well, Kurt, thanks so much for your time today. Love hearing about your story, just how you got to Freight Pop, the impact of the master's program on your life. Excited about the sixth and potentially final entrepreneurial event. I hope this one is the most successful of all of them for you. And it just sounds like you guys are having a ball and making an impact as you go. So here's to continue to scaling big. Thanks for your time, buddy, and look forward to chatting again soon. Have a great
Thank
day.
you. Appreciate you.